Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is my video seen?
Yes.
Okay. That.
Good morning, everyone. We will start in 5 minutes. Request you all to wait for some time. Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you joining us for this special investor awareness session. Today, we'll explore who an investment advisor truly is, why understanding their role matters, and what real investor experience in their financial journeys. Leading this session is our very own Karanshu Parikh, co-founder of Ekvity. With a decade of experience, Karanshu brings a unique perspective, someone who connects philosophy and psychology with investing, follows a client first approach, and believes it's time we talk about SEBI registered investment advisors community, something rarely spoken about. This session is a small but meaningful step towards creating awareness and understanding. So let's understand why एक advisor जरूरी होता है. Over to you, Kharanshu.
Thank you, Rutuja, for the lovely introduction and the kind introduction that you gave. Good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for joining in on a Saturday morning, first Saturday. Assuming it's busy, but some of you remove the time out of your busy schedule. Also, it's a second session of the series, the webinar series that we have of Beyond Wealth. And what we're trying to actually do is not talk about numbers over here, but more talking about the problems, the challenges the investors face, and how we can help solve them. So if some of you all recollect, the last session that we had was on wills and trust and succession planning, because that is a pain point. This time we thought about, having this topic about who is an investment advisor and what is the role of an investment advisor. And it actually comes from a lot from personal experience. When we speak to clients, they actually are at the first instance are a bit confused or are not knowing about us. This topic is extremely close to my heart. So I'm going to talk with a lot of emotions. Uh, Finance is about numbers, but as Rutuja mentioned, that it's a blend of psychology and philosophy also. So it's actually when we talk about problems and challenges that we are trying to solve, it's all about emotions more than the numbers. There are certain data sets and points that we have over here, but pretty less than what we are trying to achieve otherwise. So with that, I'll just begin. I'll share my screen one moment. Yeah, hope my screen is visible to all. If yes, just you can put a thumbs up in the chat so that I know. I'll just wait for a second. Okay, great. Got a thumbs up. Amazing. Also, you all can post whatever questions you all have uh, in the chat section. I'll take it at the end. There are about 24 slides. I'm assuming that I'll try to complete it between 40 to 50 minutes, and then we can have a 10 to 15 minute Q&A at the end. Hope to have some enriching questions, some questions which even I don't have answers to, so I can go back and again look back and study more about this profile and try to solve more problems and solutions. Also, this is my first webinar where I am the one who's going to talk alone without any feedback. Most of the times I've done our communicative things. So please bear if I appear raw. or amateur, but I'm learning for sure. So let's begin. Let's try to understand first the landscape of the investment industry. And what we've tried to do here in the entire 24 slides is try to talk about the landscape, then try to talk about the different intermediaries that are over there, that are present in the industry. What are some of the differences? What is an investment advisor? What is the role of an investment advisor? And what is the next leg that is going to come up in the investment advisory arena, which is the technology. So, and then we'll have the Q&A. So this is the way we've divided. So the landscape, if you actually ask me, it actually revolves around only two things. One is a product and a solution. And whether it's a product or a solution, sometimes you may use it either or, sometimes as an and, it's all okay. But they are majorly manufactured by the manufacturers. Now, who are the manufacturers per se? So you have the mutual funds, you have the portfolio management services, the alternative investment funds, insurance, and banks, right? And then you have two sets of people on your left. So on your right of your screen, you can see the distributors. Actually, the left of your screen, you can see the distributors. And on the other side, you can see the registered investment advisors. Now, these two are the people who ultimately go down and meet an investor and try to pitch a particular solution or a product basis their requirement, right? But the manufacturing is done by more or less these five players. And this is just a simple landscape of the industry. Not talking anything on the brokerage side or on the exchanges side, because we are talking majorly about the investment industry. I'm not talking a lot on the financial services industry or the capital markets industry. The second is, how has the Indian household evolved? And again, I had said that there will not be a lot of numbers. Honestly, this is the one slide where we have these many numbers. Other than that, we don't have numbers. But it's very important to understand this slide. And if you just, and I'll go slow over here because there are a lot of numbers. So if you can see the basket of direct equity, equity mutual funds, deposits, small savings, PF and pension, mutual fund and others, government securities, insurance, they are majorly in the financial assets basket. In that, if you look at the direct equity and the equity mutual funds, the third and the fourth column, it has risen from 11.1 crores in March 2015 to 76.6 crores as on June 2025. Now that is approximately 7x, which equals to a CAGR of 23%. As against deposits, small savings, PF, pension has grown from 76.3 lakh crores to 237.4 lakh crores. Now that CAGR amounts to 12%. Similarly, for mutual fund others, where other than equity mutual funds, you will have a debt mutual funds, special mutual fund, government securities, insurance. That again has a CAGR of approximately 12% from 27.9 lakh crores to 91.6 lakh crores. So financial assets, the share of equity, direct equity and equity mutual funds has almost risen at a 2x than the other asset classes in the same basket or the other products in the same basket. Now, the most interesting part is a percent share. So the slide is divided into two parts. First is the absolute numbers telling you the size of the industry. Then is actually trying to tell you the percentages with the absolute numbers. Most important thing to focus on is direct equity and equity mutual funds. Again, your third and the fourth column. But your fourth row from March 2015, it had a share of 8.6% to now 17.4%, which is double. That is a share of these individual products or solutions in the financial assets has doubled. As against, if you see the deposits, small savings, PF and pension, they have risen from 59.1% to 50. They have actually gone down from 59.1% to 53.8%. So they have actually come down. In absolute terms, the number has grown from 76.3 lakh crores to 237.4 lakh crores. But when you look at the basket and a percent share, means equity mutual funds and direct equity are doing far better than your deposits, small savings, PF, and pension. And even better, even this case is same when you look at mutual fund others, government securities, insurance. Their share has also come down from 21.6% to 20.8%. This is very important to understand, which is why there is a certain need now of distributors and registered investment advisors in the industry, which was not the case 5-10 years back, because the landscape has completely changed. The share of the share in the financial assets for these products or solutions has dramatically changed. There is just a broad segmentation that is available over here from the report of EY that we've taken, which says that managed assets, meaning your mutual funds, portfolio management services assets, AIF, are particularly your managed assets, have grown at a CAGR of 16% from 2017 till 22, as against your traditional FDs have only grown at 10%. Again, very commensurate with the point which was raised earlier, that the share of direct equity, equity mutual funds, and other managed assets is growing bigger and higher as compared to your traditional financial assets, which is your FDs and all. This is an important slide, but it actually comes from a lot of interactions from that we have had with clients. And this is not picked up from anywhere, but self-collated. And through our interactions across the years, since 2015, we've come across this. One is, I already have a broker or a CA friend. Why do I need an advisor? Fees are too high for all these products and solution. We have been missold in the past. My investments are so scattered. I have too many stocks, many PMS, many MFs. There's over diversification. What do I do? I have been given very bad recommendation in the past. There is a lack of right guidance. There is a lack of technology, no platform to see all these investments at one place. एक इधर है, एक उधर है, फिर सब एक साथ कैसे, फिर मुझे ही कोई ऐप में खुद से डालना पड़ता है. Then obviously FOMO, fear of missing out, कि मेरे नेबर ने मुझसे ज़्यादा पैसे बनाए. That again is a challenged phase. Now, it may not be a challenge, but these are some of the things that we have heard. Too many physical shares held, and there is a window now available from SEBI's end till January 6, 2026 to again convert the physical shares to demat. So whoever has it, please do the needful. When to invest? अब मार्केट और गिरेगा या ऊपर चढ़ेगा? मैं गोल्ड खरीदूं, सिल्वर खरीदूं, मैं एफडी में अभी पैसा डालूं क्या? इंटरेस्ट रेट क्या होने वाले हैं? किसकी सुनूं? आपकी सुनूं, ब्रोकर की सुनूं, मेरे सीए फ्रेंड की सुनूं, कि मैंने ट्रेन में किसी से कहा वो सुनूं, या मैंने इंटरनेट पे खुद सुना? And since I mentioned internet, there's too much of information nowadays. I mean, we are loaded, and it's truckloads of information coming our way every second. And this really confuses a lot of us. It's important to address these challenges, and how is what we're going to find out in the next 30 minutes, right? So what is the solution? Now, again, the solution is to have a solution provider, because there is no one solution to all of the problems that were mentioned over here. But you have a person or you have an entity who can do that for you, and that is a registered investment advisor. Now, if I go just by the definition of what is a registered investment advisor, then it is an investment advisor is a SEBI registered professional who provides personalized financial guidance to clients based on their financial goals, risk appetite, and market conditions. Very plain and simple, however, very difficult to understand. which is where we have faced a lot of problems for us to make people understand that what we do. And here I'm going to spend some 5 minutes on some very important things over here. Firstly, if you ask from a regulatory angle and a SEBI's perspective, there is nothing called as a financial advisor. It's only a SEBI registered investment advisor. SEBI only recognizes that. However, a lot of times you would have seen newspaper ads. You would have seen people saying, I am a financial advisor, and put it under the financial consultancy garb and give you an advice. Now, whether they are right or wrong is not my job to do, it is for the regulator. But the licensed people to give an advice on any product or solution by a manufacturer is only a registered investment advisor. Purely talking from the point of view of regulatory ethics, honesty, integrity, right? However, a lot of times people do advise without a license, and we have no control on that. But it is for us to make people aware that what exactly is a registered investment advisor, and there is nothing called as a financial advisor. However, people club the both of them and it gets just under the carpet, but that's not the right thing, right? Most of the times people ask us कि तो ठीक है तो आप पीएमएस करते हो, and we say नहीं हम पीएमएस नहीं करते. Then they say that ठीक है तो हम अभी हमें समझाइए कि आपका डिफरेंस क्या है पीएमएस और आरआईए के बीच में. And PMS is portfolio management services. And why have we put this example is exactly the way, is the best possible way for us to make you understand. Firstly, understand that RIAs are the people who can make a beautiful dish for you. We may or may not be manufacturers. For sure, we will be able to make the dish better for you because we are licensed people to do it from a regulatory angle. And what do I mean by that? एक समझ लेते हैं PMS. PMS could be an equity driven PMS या debt driven PMS. क्या वो आपको और कोई एसेट क्लास पे एडवाइस कर सकता है? The answer is no. नहीं कर सकते वो रेगुलेटरी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. वो अपने प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बता सकते हैं और वो सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं कि उनके प्रोडक्ट में क्या खूबियां हैं. What are the features? How have they performed? How do they do research? And how do they go about their things? And RIA is a layer on top of that. That hey, I am hungry, मुझे भूख लगी है. तो मुझे अगर 10 रेस्टोरेंट्स चाहिए तो कौन से रेस्टोरेंट की क्या खूबी है और मैं क्या ब्लेंड करूं जहां मुझे कॉन्टिनेंटल भी मिल सकता है, नॉर्थ इंडियन भी मिल सकता है और फिर मैं यही जाके रेस्टोरेंट चूज करूं, इज व्हाट एन RIA इज. अ PMS कैन बी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोडक्ट्स अंडर देयर हाउस उनके नाम से. RIA का कोई अफिनिटी नहीं होता है कोई मैन्युफैक्चरर के साथ. आप एक कह सकते हैं कंसल्टेंट जैसा हो गया, जहां जिसके वहां अच्छी चीज मिलेगी जो मेरे क्लाइंट के लिए अच्छी है, उसके रिस्क प्रोफाइल और सूटेबिलिटी में हो रही है, वो मैं जाके उनको रेकमेंड करूंगा. और मैं सिर्फ इक्विटी और डेट पे सीमित नहीं रहूंगा. आई कैन इवन गो टू गोल्ड, आई कैन इवन गो टू सिल्वर, वी कैन इवन रेकमेंड AIFs. Our plethora of asset classes available are quite large. The only thing is, certain asset classes come under SEBI, certain asset classes do not come under SEBI. And we just need to specify it to the client that ये SEBI के purview में नहीं आता है, ये SEBI non-regulated asset class है. बट हम उस पर टिप्पणी जरूर दे सकते हैं. क्या और कोई हमारे अलावा कर सकता है? नहीं कर सकता. This is a basic difference. So another one important point over here, आप अपने पूरे सारे एसेट क्लासेस अगर अगर उसको हम पकड़ेंगे तो इक्विटी रहेगा, डेट रहेगा, रियल एस्टेट, फिक्स्ड इनकम यानी आपके फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट्स वगैरह रहेगी. वो सबको आप पोर्टफोलियो कहते रहेंगे, विच इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट. एंड उस पे हम एसेट एलोकेशन करेंगे कि आपका कितना पैसा किस दरमियान कौन से एसेट क्लास में जाना चाहिए. 50% इक्विटी में जाना चाहिए तो वो डायरेक्ट इक्विटी में कैसे जाना चाहिए या इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में कैसे जाना चाहिए. एज अगेंस्ट अ PMS, PMS विल चूज अ स्ट्रैटेजी, या तो इक्विटी या तो डेट. वो कहेगा मैं नॉर्थ इंडियन ही बनाऊंगा या तो कॉन्टिनेंटल बनाऊंगा, या मैं अगर दोनों करूंगा, पर दोनों अलग अलग शेफ है मेरे हैंडल करने, बट मैं उसके अलावा और कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा, मैं आपको गोल्ड पे कुछ नहीं बता पाऊंगा, मैं आपको सिल्वर पे नहीं बता पाऊंगा। तो वो आपका एक एसेट क्लास का पोर्टफोलियो मैनेज करेंगे, हम सारे एसेट क्लासेस का पोर्टफोलियो मैनेज करेंगे। फर्क है हम में। सो वी आर फैसिलिटेटर्स to the PMS and the AIF, provided it suits the client's risk profile and suitability. Right? Hope I've been able to clarify. If not, questions are always there, and we can build on this. What exactly we do as RIAs? Very important and pertinent to understand. This is a simple snapshot of some of the things that we do. This particular segment has around like 9 boxes, 10 boxes. In my opinion, this can keep on increasing as India grows bigger and as financialization of savings happen, right? One, financial advice. We can do goal-based planning. We can have model portfolios. We can recommend stocks to you. We can recommend allocations on those stocks. We can tell which mutual fund to buy, how much to buy, which ETF, thematic portfolios. अगर डिफेंस चल रहा है तो डिफेंस में डालना चाहिए कि नहीं, फार्मा चल रहा है तो फार्मा में डालना चाहिए कि नहीं, कौन सा आपको इंश्योरेंस लेना चाहिए, आपको कौन से ऑल्टरनेटिव स्ट्रैटेजीज लेनी चाहिए इन एआईएफ, आपको कभी कोई प्री आईपीओ फंड में डालना है, कोई एसएमई फंड में डालना है, ये सब कुछ एक आरआईए कर सकता है। एंड मैंने से सब कुछ कर सकता है मीनिंग एडवाइस कर सकता है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग नहीं। बट कौन सी चीज आपके लिए सही है, दैट ये चीज आप पे ज्यादा अच्छी लगेगी या जचेगी या आपके पोर्टफोलियो के लिए बेटर है, इज व्हाट वी आर एसेंशियली डूइंग ओवर हियर। The sad part is there are only 962 RIAs and this number is a bit contested because और एक slide है नीचे जहाँ 918 है. So it is between 900 to 1000, we can safely say these are the number of RIAs in the country today, and it's going down year on year, right? And just to put in perspective and numbers, how we stack across the other players in the industry, right? So we talked about PMS fund managers and we talked about RIAs, but there are others also. Let us see. The largest part is the mutual fund distributors and 1,80,000 approximately. Then we have PMS people at 472. We have RIAs at 962. There's research analysts, the RAs at 1577, and then we have the AIFs, right? Now, what I'm trying to say over here is the number is too small, and it's extremely important that this category of RIAs and RAs grow alongside the mutual fund distributors. Most of the times people ask कि ये the question is between a distributor versus an RIA. Now again, that's a very macro topic. If this topic is close to my heart, I am an RIA, I'm going to be biased, I would say RIA. The real question is how should one compete on capabilities? An RIA, as an RIA, we compete on capabilities. The the licenses that we get from SEBI and the avenues on which we can advise are the most, and that is where we have to build our capabilities. We do not want to do this versus this. That is for the regulator to see what is the best for the customer, what is the best for the investor. As a person in the ecosystem, this is what is my forte, this is what I feel is my ikigai. We need to do this. But there is a huge dearth of RIAs, and we will tell you why. We are the funnel, as I mentioned, to the PMS, to the AIF, to any asset class. So we are that pipe which can help you trickle down your investments. How is the industry segregating its investors, right? And this will you will see across the presentations of all of us across the wealth management industry. हम कहेंगे मास अफ्लुएंट है 50 लाख के नीचे, 50 लाख से 5 करोड़ को अफ्लुएंट करेंगे, फिर 5 करोड़ के ऊपर एचएनआईज करेंगे, 50 करोड़ के ऊपर अल्ट्रा एचएनआईज करेंगे. This is the way we categorize how much sum of money or portfolio our clients have or the investors have. At Ekvity, as an RIA, we feel this may not be the right way to do it for us. Why? If you remember the start of the session, what did I say? That we are here to solve problems, here to solve challenges. 10 challenges that were mentioned in the third slide. We are here to solve them. And that an RIA can do it beautifully. And we will come to it why in the next few slides. But at Ekvity, what we've planned to do, and we already do, is this way. In our opinion, as of now, and this can maybe get built on across the years, but as of now, people come to us for four things. Wealth creation, फिर एक टाइम पे आता है wealth creation and preservation, फिर आता है succession planning, where transmission of wealth आता है, where we did the wills and trust, which was our first webinar a few months back, and then is value unlocking. Whether it's an IPO, an M&A, a stake sale, that's the value unlocking. Typically, ये चार पड़ाव होते हैं. As an RIA, मेरे clients को मुझे ऐसे segregate करना है. Because SEBI मुझे allow करता है to advise on these things. I have to just mention which is under SEBI's purview, not under SEBI's purview, which is in my in-house thing, or I'm taking a third-party thing. That is what I have to mention. But I can do all these four things. Can others do it? No. Like, is there a term called as wealth manager, like a financial advisor from a regulatory angle? No. From a regulatory angle, there is nothing called as a wealth manager. कोई certification नहीं. बहुत लोग लिखते हैं, and it's all fine. Certification नहीं है. Only an RIA can do this, and officially on mail tell you this, right? This is the way we have decided at Ekvity to segregate our client. Basis the need. वो क्यों आते हैं हमारे पास? हर एक क्लाइंट का या हर एक इन्वेस्टर का एक अलग नीड होता है, वो केटर करना बहुत जरूरी होता है. And this is where we are trying to build a differentiated niche capability over here, which I mentioned that RIA has to build their business and their entire thing on capabilities. They have that power which no other intermediary in the industry has. And it's time all of us realize that, including the investors, because awareness is not there. And that is why we are doing this. We can't accept funds. We can never take funds. Unless I'm a manufacturer, I can't take. As an RIA, no RIA can take money from you, apart from fees, that is. बट अगर आप कहेंगे कि मुझे 1 करोड़ है आपके अकाउंट में, मैं डाल देता हूँ और आप इन्वेस्ट करिए, वी कांट डू दैट. इट्स नॉट अलाउड. इट्स हैज टू बी इन योर ओन अकाउंट. बट वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट a lot of things. We preempt things where we try to understand you better, because we try to understand your risk profiling, your suitability better. And that is where we come up with solutions. And when you come up with solutions or are trying to solve a problem or a challenge of a client or an aspiration of a client, you have to expect things. You cannot wait for the client to come, because most of the times we have to make the client aware कि अरे आपको ये जरूरत है सर या मैडम, क्या आपने सोचा है इसके बारे में? Whether do you need a will? Whether you want to do a trust? Whether are you looking at transmission? Whether are your nominees even updated? Whether you have an exposure to the X asset class? Why don't you look at it? What is the rigidity? Trying to solve those things. Why is the ability of an investor high but the willingness to invest in equity low? We have to understand that and then guide them. That is what we have to do. Our power is to provide the best use case for every scenario. And this is a very, very powerful line, because there are multiple scenarios, as I shared above earlier, which we think are four, but there could be many. In fact, there are so many instances we've put in a slide coming up where people talk about varied topics to their investment advisor in the US. And when we read that, we were just blown away. And those numbers are not like 20% of the people talk about this, 30% of the people. It's as good as 60%, 70% talking about such things. And we were like, wow, the scope is huge and the need is there. Somebody has to solve the problem. We feel there will be a day where people, just like they don't change their CAs, their doctors, their lawyers, they say that I have a family doctor, uh, people will not change their investment advisors and they will stick to them. They will say that this person is my family investment advisor. And we are very, very confident that India is moving that way. And in years to come, I don't know when, maybe 5 years, 2 years, three, 10, India is known to skip generations. We move very fast as a country, even with uh, democracy, bureaucracy, and 140 crore of people. But there will be a day soon where people will swear by their investment advisors and they won't change them and they will involve them in a lot of decisions in their lives. Why do we claim this? Very, very important. The next two, three slides. This in particular, India has 918, as I had mentioned that there's a different set of data across available at different places. 918 on a 140 crore population. Number of RIAs per million people is 1, right? यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में आप देखेंगे तो 15,000 RIAs है. यूनाइटेड किंगडम में 5573, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में almost 16,000. And when I looked at the data for Australia, I was shocked. And I recently visited, and with the conversations I had with some of the people living over there, they said that financial advisory is a very big industry in Australia. The acceptability of Australians is very, very high. And then when this data came across, it actually got proven. You have 603 RIAs per million people. 10 लाख पे 600 लोग हैं जो इंडिया में आज एक है. We have gone a different way in adapting to distributors first, but we see a change and we hope and we wish that there is a change where things get balanced out. Everybody is important in the ecosystem, but RIA is very, very important. That cannot be discounted. The global data says that. I was mentioning that the plethora of different topics that they discuss with their advisors. And I mean, if you can go to the eighth point, which is physical and mental health, 66% of the investors discuss this with their RIAs in the US. And we were just shocked when we heard about when we were going through this data that the role of an RIA is actually way more ingrained. And that's why we said above that there will be a day where people will not change their investment advisors because they will open up and share everything with them, including their personal problems. Because if you actually go to see, uh, the second last point is actually selecting transition investment options, say value-based investments. Mental health, that's about those things. That is why, and that is the key. Because here, when you solve a problem, you solve a challenge, you are here to make sure the aspirations, the goals, the retirement planning, the education planning for the child is done. It cannot just be done with numbers. You have to understand the client, you have to go in their shoes. And I keep sharing it internally with the team that I only have one philosophy, which is my client's philosophy. I cannot have my own philosophy. I have to go into their shoes and understand them. It's not a one size fits all. Very much ignored, not yet solved. It is tricky, it is tough, it is challenging. Sometimes cost benefit analysis don't come across, but somebody has to do it, and we are trying, and that's technology. To scale this particular function and to reach as many people who need this, one has to have technology. But the bigger question is, and one of the challenges that was that मेरे सारे investments scattered है. मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है, 15 जगह पे है, मैं कितनी सारी चीजें कोडिट करूं. One has to integrate technology. And now, trust me, our regulators that we have in SEBI, RBI, we are one of the best. Why I say is through account aggregator norms. and those guidelines, we can actually create a lot of value over here for the investors. Some of the companies in the software space are creating it. We have onboarded a software very soon. Login credentials will be given to all the clients, but there is a lot more to do in that software and technology. It is just the base, and those lack of right guidance, too much of information, plethora of investments, over diversification, kiski sunu, everything can be leveraged through technology beautifully. It has to come together on tech. Somehow, we as an RI industry have not been able to look at that and leverage it. At Equity, we are trying to build something, and hopefully, wishfully, we are able to create something out of it. But why is this extremely important if you ask me? The technology piece. So if you see on the left of your screen, the distribution through physical channels, the product distribution, stocks, NMFs via intermediary channels, is now shifting towards the advisory and the insights piece, which is what is written in the bottom of the image. Product distribution to advisory and insights. And what do we mean over here is ultimately, once you have so many products and solutions, have to be able to provide insights, whether this product and solution is even delivery. And does not mean on an absolute basis. It means on a relative basis also. And what is the future for that product or solution? Should there be a swap? Should there be continuity? Should there be a rebalancing to add more, to reduce, whatever it is? Those insights are very critical. Otherwise, some of the times we realize हमारी investments 5-10 साल से हैं और वो dead हो गए. They've been dead. There is no action on it. And then one fine day realize, and उसमें अच्छा भी होता है. Sometimes we make a lot of money in that. But sometimes we realize, oh shit, I would have sold earlier and I would have made money. Or I have not lost money. That is where the insights is very important. But the insights comes with the technology part, where your digital onboarding, your risk profiling, curated portfolios, analytics, dashboards, sorry, multiple things have to come to fall in place. And after that, once your process is set, once your things are under one umbrella, then you can go towards goal tracking, portfolio rebalancing. What is your personality? There are 8 types of personality. They say, are you a hare? Are you a tortoise? And are you a what? Maybe I don't know, some other animal also. There are 8 types of animals people can classify the investor category as. Then one can do a personalized management. And what do we mean by personalized management? Which is again on the rightmost part of your screen, income/expense analytics and insights. There are tools available individually for a lot of these things. आपका इनकम एक्सपेंस एनालाइज करने के लिए SIP कैलकुलेटर, CAGR कैलकुलेटर, but if one has to do in one platform where one gets the insight everything all at once, there is nothing of it today available, and there is a huge need to do it because an investor today finds it very difficult to go at 5 places and look at 5 things. And I'm not saying this is easy, but one has to step up to do it, and we want to do it, and we are in the process of doing it. इसलिए एक एडवाइजर जरूरी होता है, and this is what we want to create as an awareness. All of us needs to have a registered investment advisor as a buddy, where you can talk investments on a lot many things. There are some since this is my last slide, there are some very important things to note over here, that the investment advisor only has a fiduciary duty with the client. What I mean is we are a fee-based community. And what I talk today is all about the community. Without the community, I would not be able to be standing over here in front of you. It's the 962, the 1000, the 918 that all of us have to come together. So we don't have any affinity with any manufacturer. We can tell what to buy when with any manufacturer. We don't take third-party commissions for anything. Sorry, I'll just drink a sip of water. We don't take commissions from anybody. We choose what is the best for the client at any given point in time because there is no affinity with any manufacturer. There is a genuine need of an RIA, and one day we hope and dream once again that just like you have a CA and a lawyer or a doctor who you don't change, you will not change your investment advisor too. Thank you so much. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Questions are welcome, please. We're hoping to answer some of them. I'll stop sharing my slide now. Right.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Ashwinji, please.
Yeah, this is Ashwin Gatnani. I am a director of my company, this 3F Magnus Tech Private Limited. I am
Okay.
having Microsoft dealership for all Maharashtra, and we are manufacturing antivirus also.
Wow. Okay. Glad to know, sir.
Thank you. Why I am telling you, because why we require the SEBI register of a financial advisor?
Okay. So, say for example, let's take the last 6 months, sir. Gold and silver did very well,
Hmm.
right? Now, if you go to say another intermediary who has a PMS or an MF, they will tell you that ये MF ले लो, वो MF ले लो, और इसमें SIP करते रहो. They are not the right person and the licensed people to tell you that, sir, Ashwinji, why don't you even look at a gold ETF? Why don't you look at a silver ETF?
Hmm.
Why don't you look at maybe putting money in US stocks right now? Why don't you look at money in Brazil?
Hmm.
Japan has given 50% return in the last 6 months. China has given 40% return till date. अगर वो सब आपको बताना है सर, तो सिर्फ एक रजिस्टर्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर बता पाएगा, क्योंकि मेरी अफिनिटी एक कोई फंड हाउस या मैन्युफैक्चरर के साथ नहीं है. मेरी अफिनिटी वहां है जहाँ मेरा क्लाइंट अगर उसे पैसा बनाना है तो पैसा बना सकता है, उसको अगर पैसा संभालना है तो वो पैसा कैसे सिक्योर कर सकता है.
But he is having the SEBI registered certificate.
Yes, we have a SEBI registered certificate. You can go on SEBI and check our name. We have to give exams. In fact, all the people who even talk to you from
Okay.
my team on the client relations side have to be registered with SEBI as PAIA, person associated with investment advice. SEBI
Okay.
उस हद तक सर्टिफाई करता है सर.
He is coming once in a month in personally discussion, yeah, online.
That is again, so that is a beauty, Ashwin ji, where it's all about relations जो मैंने कहा. So अगर आप expect करेंगे 1 month, there will be a monthly meeting. If there is a quarterly, it will be a quarterly meeting. If there is a yearly, it's a yearly thing. Each client wants it different. कोई कहता है हमें रोज एक conversation चाहिए, कोई कहता है हमें 15 दिन में चाहिए. Need based है सर, क्योंकि you can have a fund flow at any point in time. So we
Second
don't
point
have
is
any restrictions.
second point is why the Indian people is too late for the this requirement of financial advisor. Is a what is the reason for that?
सो एक्चुअली अश्विन जी कैसा है दैट डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स जो है, जो 1,78,000 के अप्रॉक्स है, उन्हें कमीशंस मिलता है एज फ्रॉम द म्यूचुअल फंड हाउसेस.
Right.
Indian people don't have a habit, with all due respect to all of us, to pay.
Okay.
The thing has changed in the last 3 to 5 years because of few things, sir. One, पिछले 5 साल में जितनी वेल्थ बनी है उतनी पिछले 10 साल पहले नहीं बनी थी.
Right.
Secondly, second generation is now coming into it and handling these things. They want to handle less of property, land, they want more in financial assets, and they are
Right.
ready to look at options.
Okay.
Third, we have all been accustomed to Zomato, Swiggy, Netflix, where we are now paying subscription fees. सो एक माइंडसेट चेंज होने लगा है सर कि अभी हमें अच्छी एडवाइस के लिए फीस देनी पड़ेगी। वी शुड नॉट माइंड दैट। बट इसके पहले लोगों को फीस नहीं देनी थी। इसके लिए आज की तारीख में एक म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को कमीशन मिलता है, बट आपको नहीं पता रहेगा कि उसको कमीशन मिल रहा है, और आपको
नहीं,
ख्याल ही नहीं रहेगा कि कितना मिल रहा है।
वो इसको मिलता है, इसमें से वो पास ऑन भी करता है हमको। अभी मैंने 25 लाख रुपीज इन्वेस्ट किया म्यूचुअल फंड में। दे
हम्म।
आर पासिंग 15,000 रुपीज टू मी,
अग्री।
पार्ट ऑफ द कमीशन।
Agreed. So again, these kind of practices that happen, sir, even in LIC it happens, which is the reason why the acceptance of RIA is not coming across, because it has become so competitive and so commoditized. But in that, people are not realizing that आप जो कर रहे हो जरूरी नहीं वो राइट एडवाइस है। आपके जो फंड्स परफॉर्म कर रहे हो जरूरी नहीं है राइट है। बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली अ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर विल हैव सर्टेन टारगेट्स फ्रॉम द एएमसीज आल्सो टू फुलफिल। इट
But
वर्क्स।
they are giving the right mutual fund information कि भाई इसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट करो, इसमें करो, इसमें करो, तो that is not correct.
Agreed, sir. So actually, they can't advise.
Hmm.
And that is a gray area where if you see the RIA community is constantly having a discussion with the regulator that हमारे लिए इतने licenses है, इतने protocols है, but distributor तो वही काम कर रहा है, and even a 10th pass can be a distributor.
Right.
So this is the reason the entire distributor versus RIA model is there. Now, if you ask me from a regulatory angle, sir, you cannot advise. Nobody apart from an RIA can advise. In fact, we have to give a rationale on every advice that we give to you. हमें हर
Okay.
चीज का जस्टिफिकेशन ऑन पेपर देना पड़ता है, और आपको उस चीज को अप्रूव भी करना पड़ता है।
Right. And what is the responsibility of RI?
Again, sir, see, when you ask me about the monetary responsibility, then nothing. So just like your distributor, we are facilitators to things. So we don't are not taking risk on anything on our books. But
Okay.
at the end of the day, it is all relationship based. So
Okay.
if in any way we go wrong or we do something which is not right, then obviously the name is at stake. And in wealth management industry, reputation is everything, sir. Reputation खराब हो जाती है तो you lose everything.
Okay. And how much charges of that?
Sir, it depends on solution to solution. That's what I said, that it depends why you have come to us. What are we trying to address? Whether it is wealth creation है, preservation है, and उसके basis पे we discuss with you and then provide. Obviously, there are certain standardized things as well. So if you can help me with your contact details, we will share those with you.
Okay. And second thing, I want to just meeting with them. How will contact him?
So I am the RIA, sir,
Okay.
for my company. I can come and visit you, meet you, and we can discuss in person.
Where is your office?
Andheri East, Hubtown.
My office is Goregaon West, Topiwala Mall,
Okay, near the station.
yeah, near station.
I can come down, sir.
So,
You come
yeah,
down.
yeah. So, whenever you're free, you just tell me, and we come together and discuss with this point and how we can. My portfolio is just I want to tell you, and
Sure.
and how to bifurcate that. That is finalized.
Absolutely. Sure,
Okay.
Ashwin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. They were all
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you. Anybody else? Questions? I can see some in the chats. So I think a couple of questions are there. Many of us can, just one moment. Who wants to ask a question? Whom should I unmute? Okay, BlackRock. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, BlackRock. Sorry, I don't know your name. On the screen is coming BlackRock.
Yes, yes, yes. This is Zaroori
Can
from.
you be a bit louder, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now is it clear and loud?
Sorry.
Now my voice is clear and loud.
It's a bit bleak, but I'm trying my level best to listen to you. So please go on.
Okay, this is Rohit from Navi Mumbai. I was
Okay.
actually listening.
Yeah, go ahead, Rohit.
I'm not connected with SEBI, but
Rohit can't hear you.
sorry for a second, I'm changing.
Can you post your question in the chat section?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Now clear.
Yeah, Rohit, we can't hear you. Can you post your question in the chat section?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I'll answer it for sure. Meanwhile, I'll take a couple of questions which are there in the chat section. Many of us are earning and investing in US but plan to settle in India in a few years. But would you be able to help us in managing investments in two countries? If I still want to continue investing in the US? Yes. Since you are earning in the US and you'll be shifting over here, there will be a legal aspect to it. So we also have collaboration with a law firm. We'll have to work hand in hand with them to get the nitty-gritties right because filing a return for somebody in the US having an income over there, then shifting, you might have some ESOPs also. It is a bit tricky. It has to be done by proper guidance where a proper lawyer and a CA comes into the picture. Uh, and yes, we can help you that how you can still manage your investments in the US. Some of our clients are not based in US, not based in India, but based somewhere else, have 401ks in the US and they're still managing it. And they're still having it, and we are even helping them with that. So it's very much possible. There is another question. More than 50% of the mutual funds have not beaten their benchmarks. That's why the right, okay, it's a statement. Okay. Selecting the right mutual fund truly matters. Okay. Think Karan has said that. Agreed. So, Karan, I think this data of more than 50% not being able to beat is very relative to the time frame that we take. Um, Obviously, at times you will find 80% not beating if you would have taken 2021. Right now, if you see around, I think 56% are beating the benchmark in the large cap category. So it varies. But I agree that that is the reason why you need an investment advisor and picking up the right fund which is going to perform really matters. Nilesh ji has asked for our office address and contact numbers. So, team, if you can share it with him, Mr. Nilesh More. Yes, Rohit ji's question is here. I am having a good portfolio and help my family to guide on market. I was getting to SEBI registered from couple of months, but a hard rock as SEBI compliance is to manage after getting SEBI registered. So, as you are a SEBI registered, need a small view, what shall I go ahead with? So, Rohitji, I would suggest yes, compliance comes, and I have this thought process that rules are made for the 5% people that don't follow, but entire 100% has to come under the ambit. Um, we can crib about compliances, we can crib about rules, uh, but if you look at it, say for हम फार्मा का एग्जांपल लेंगे तो अगर फार्मा रेगुलेटर यूएस एफडीए नहीं रहेगा तो हम कोई भी दवाई खा लेंगे so regulator is always a friend at the end of the day to the customer may not be a friend to the intermediaries what we feel but the best part is to do everything under a license ambit because it even creates an artificial wall around us that not all of us can be RIs. Yes, compliances are heavy and you would have to be stringent about that and it adds to the cost. But in the longer run, if you want to do it from a 5-7 year perspective, it will all make sense. Also, to be on the right side of the law and doing things is always the better option. We've chosen that and we believe in that. And India has, as we mentioned, only one RIA per 10 lakhs. So the uh, room is too big to grow. The journey has just started of financialization of savings in the last 2-3 years. The expectation is it'll keep on doing from a 20, 10, 15, 20 year perspective also better. So yes, you should apply. Um, and anything you do in life or we do in life will always have some negatives and some cons. तो हमें उसको अपने we should just take it under our ambit, take it a part of the story and move on is what we've kind of come to terms with. So I think that brings an end to the questions. I think no further questions from anyone. Hope it was valuable, interactive for all of y'all. Wish to connect with some other people who have expressed their interest. But this was a major thing to create awareness for the entire community. And hope we are able to create a lot more difference in the minds of the investors and create a difference in the society through the RIA framework. We will keep coming up with such webinars. The next one will follow in the next calendar year, end of January or February. Please do tune in at that point in time. Again, we will come with a different set of a need or challenge you would be facing in your life, and we will try to address that. Until then, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.
Bye, bye, bye.